Long ago, God chose a man named Abraham and made him a wonderful and lasting promise. God promised that Abraham's family would one day become as many as the stars in the sky. But for many long years, Abraham and his wife Sarah had no children of their own. Then, when they were very old, God kept his promise, and Sarah gave birth to a son. They named him Isaac, which means laughter, and he filled their home with great joy. Abraham loved his son Isaac more than anything else in all the world. Isaac grew into a kind and gentle boy who followed his father everywhere he went. God had blessed Abraham richly, and his heart was full of thankfulness and quiet faith. Then one day, God spoke to Abraham to test the faith that was in his heart. "Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love," God said, "and go to the land of Moriah. There, offer him to me on a mountain that I will show you," the Lord gently told him. It was the hardest thing Abraham had ever been asked to do in all of his life. Yet Abraham trusted God completely, believing that the Lord always knew what was best. Early the next morning, Abraham rose, cut the wood, and saddled his donkey for the journey. He took Isaac and 2 servants and set out toward the distant mountains of Moriah. For 3 long days they traveled, and Abraham's heart was heavy every step of the way. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the holy place far off in the distance. "Stay here with the donkey," he told the servants, "while the boy and I go to worship. We will worship, and then we will come back to you," Abraham said, trusting God's plan. Abraham placed the wood for the offering upon his son Isaac's shoulders to carry. He himself carried the fire and the knife as the 2 of them walked on together. Father and son climbed the mountain side by side, quiet in the soft morning light. Isaac walked faithfully beside his father, not yet knowing what was to come. The path grew steep, but Abraham kept walking, holding tightly to his trust in God. Every step tested his faith, yet Abraham did not turn back from what God had asked. Soon they drew near to the very place that God had shown him on the mountain. Then Isaac spoke up gently, "My father," and Abraham answered, "Yes, my son." "The fire and the wood are here," Isaac said, "but where is the lamb for the offering?" Abraham answered with quiet faith, "God himself will provide the lamb, my son." And the 2 of them kept walking on together toward the holy place. When they reached the spot, Abraham began to build an altar out of stones. Carefully he arranged the wood upon the altar, his heart aching with deep sorrow. Then, with trembling hands and tears, Abraham gently laid his son upon the altar. Isaac trusted his father, and his father trusted the God who had never once failed him. Abraham lifted his eyes toward heaven, his heart torn between his love and his obedience. He reached out his hand, ready to do the hardest thing God had ever asked of him. But in that very moment, everything was suddenly about to change. Suddenly a voice called out from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham, stop. Do not lay a hand on the boy," the angel of the Lord called out to him urgently. "Do not harm him in any way, for now I know that you truly fear and trust God. You did not hold back your only son from me," the Lord said to him with love. Relief and joy washed over Abraham as he lowered his hand and held his son close. Isaac was safe, and Abraham's faith had been shown to be true and complete. Then Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in a nearby thicket. God had provided the offering all along, just as Abraham had faithfully believed. So Abraham offered the ram to God in place of his beloved son Isaac. He named that place "The Lord Will Provide," a name remembered for all time. Then the angel called again, "Because you have obeyed, God will bless you greatly. Your family will be as many as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. And through your family, God promised, all the nations of the earth will be blessed." So Abraham and Isaac went back down the mountain together, their hearts full of joy. Their story reminds us that God is faithful, and He always provides for those who trust Him.